society. Thank you.
Then, if you have now mastered that terrible bad habit of sorry for my interruption, who wants you to sorry after interrupting? Please ban that from your vocabulary. Don't even try to interrupt, let alone having sorry for interruption before you interrupt. It means that you are deliberately being wicked, right? You're planning your interruption and you're apologizing up front. Just shut up and let him finish what he's saying. It's very important that we don't interrupt. And it's also important, in fact, more important, that you don't plan to interrupt by using sorry for my interruption. It doesn't make you more polite, it doesn't make you more enlightened. It actually make you look more crude and rash.
Building maintenance is essential to prolong the building life cycle and reduce company loss. When a structure is built, it must be maintained. And when it's not maintained, it deteriorates even faster. No matter how beautiful a building is, once it's not maintained, it begins to deteriorate. When buildings are neglected, defects can occur, which may result to extensive and unavoidable damage to the structure. And maintenance doesn't just have to do with most persons, when you hear maintenance of building, think it's just to change light bulb or to clean. But it's not just that. It's a whole lot. Even the act of having the building being alive itself, it's also part of it, part of keeping the building. Whether it is being inhabited or not, it's at the end of the day, it deteriorates even faster. You discover that the doors, the wardrobes, and all the wooden elements begin to give way. Even the furniture begin to have some wear and tear. That's why maintenance also involves in making the building alive. I also enter the flat, open the door, put on the AC, walk around for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, check all the rooms, and come out and lock it up. Not knowing that the fact that you are entering that building, the exchange of heat from your body inside that environment is making that building more usable and more alive. Such that the kind of thing that happened that time that I traveled, but they'll clean the place, of course. After like 2, 3 weeks, they'll go clean again because dust will come in. But the building, if you don't now rent out that building, it's easier because when somebody comes, okay, it doesn't look. But when you look, everywhere is so old, smelling somehow. You say, "Oh God, we have not been occupied here for like how many?" The person, if the person is to pay you 1 million, the person will actually drop that cost.
Okay, good afternoon. Like I said, my name is Byron. I'm from the first class FM Mastercard. After the Mastercard, I worked for Max-Migold for 2 months, and then Mr. Paul gave me a connection to go to Total facility, TFM. I was at TFM for 4 months, and I had some numerous interviews I went for. And one of them I went for security. They called me for an interview. I also went for Transport Service Limited, where I currently work. So September 10th, I got the job as the facility officer. and my site is at Ituri, Ogun State. I also manage the site at Eweko Road, where La Park is, because we also have trucks that pick up cement from La Park, because we are into logistics. So it wasn't easy, because I know I still put in more effort in it. Joining what I learned from Mr. Paul, I went for interviews and I did well. Almost all the places I went to, they called me back, but looking at the opportunity for me to grow, I wanted to be an in-house facility manager. I didn't want to be a contract where we work on contracts, so that's why I stick to where I was. It has really been a good road, good and bad, but I'm happy I did Mastercraft.
Good day, everyone. A quick testimony about Facilities Management Mastercraft Diploma, the program I decided to do this year. I must say it's one of the best decisions I made this year so far. All the 28 courses, inclusive of field trips and the projects, they are very key to facilities management, I must say. Personally, from my own hand, I've been able to make some adjustments. Particularly, I've been able to come up with reports, that reflects the mind of the management, because I'm more aware of the way they think. In addition to that, I've been able to come up with analysis, specifically one that I'm doing right now as to power, requested by one of our EDs. All right, this could have been outsourced, so in a way, I've saved cost for our organization. Okay. Also, I must say I got a commendation from my boss recently. One of the courses we learned, for example, is workplace productivity. I put some of the things that we learned to use, and I believe that's the reason I'm able to earn this commendation from my direct boss. Right. So I must say, generally speaking, I am more conscious of the spaces I manage, their conditions, and not just how to maintain our assets right now, but how to manage them. Right. I'm more aware of industry standards, and I'm making some adjustments already. Okay, that doesn't just look at cost savings, but also impact on the people that use our spaces and the environment at large. So thank you, Max-Migold. Thank you, Mr. Paul, and all the instructors. God bless you.
Okay, where were they? Where are they now? Where are they? What are their projections? What are their forecasts into the future? As facilities management, we must be able to measure, as facilities managers, pardon me, we must be able to measure where we are at every point in time. If you can't measure your performance, if you can't measure your activities, then how do you improve on it? Now I'm talking about you measuring performance. You can track that to the benchmarking processes that we must have been taught, right? Benchmarking, comparing apple for apple, considering cost, value, quality, whatever. Okay. So, for example, I can say very vividly, okay, that when I got here, my energy was X kilowatt is at a rate per kilowatt. Now I know where I am. Okay, I can tell you very vividly that when we got here, our satisfaction level from our survey was X. We are now X1 or X2, but we are going to X4. We've been able to track all this because we are able to monitor, we are able to measure our performances. So as FMs, to be successful in your industry, you will be able to measure your performances to your stakeholders. That is what gives you value. 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 Measure performance. Communicate it. Throw it in their eye. That is how you'll be successful.
Are you looking for a rewarding career in facility management? Do you want to learn the latest skills and best practices from industry experts? Do you want to join a network of over 750 professionals who have completed the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma program? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are in the right place. In this video, I will tell you everything you need to know about the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma program, the most comprehensive and practical training program for facility managers in Nigeria and beyond. What is facility management? Facility management is the professional interdisciplinary business function that coordinates the demand and supply of physical facilities, amenities, spaces, and services within public and private organizations through the integration of people, systems, places, processes, and technology. Facility management covers a wide range of activities such as maintenance of workspaces, buildings, and other infrastructures, space planning and design, workplace, construction and lease management, operations and maintenance, furniture and cleaning, risk management through emergency preparedness and business continuity, environmental sustainability, human aspects and communication, project management and service quality, real estate and property management, leadership and strategy. Why facility management? Facility management is a booming industry with huge potential for growth and opportunities. According to a recent international survey, the global facility management market size was valued at $1.26 trillion in 2022 and is projected to grow to $2 trillion by 2030, exhibiting a cumulative annual growth rate of 6.7%. In Nigeria, it is estimated at 1.79 trillion naira, with annual growth projections of 15%, and reaching over 3 trillion naira by 2030. The demand for facility management services is driven by factors such as increasing urbanization and industrialization, rising awareness of cleanliness, management, maintenance, and security, government expenditures in transportation, energy, construction, and others. Awareness of sustainability and adoption of environmental, social, and governance processes by corporations. Growing need for cost optimization and efficiency improvement. If you are interested in applying for the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma program, you can visit the website www.promo.facilitymanagementcourses.com. You can also contact Max-Migold via WhatsApp chat 08022020122 or email training@maxmigold.com for more information. The program fees are as follows. Non-refundable application fee, $15,000. Program fees, $499,000 for online training or $599,000 for physical training. Total fees, $514,000 virtual or $614,000 physical, exclusive of VAT. We understand that the program fees may seem high, but we assure you that they are worth it. The program offers a high return on investment, as you will gain valuable skills and knowledge that will boost your career and income potential in the facility management industry. You will also receive a globally recognized certificate and access to job opportunities and internships that will give you an edge over your competitors. To make it easier for you, we also offer interest-free flexible payment plans that allow you to pay in installments. You can choose the payment plan that suits your budget and schedule, starting as low as $84,000 virtual or $100,000 physical for 6 months. Register now and join the next batch of participants. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more updates and information. We hope to see you soon in the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma Program. Until then, stay safe and stay productive.
Yeah, my name is Ayola Agility, and it's nice, passing through Max-Migold. It's a wonderful organization, basically into facility management. I won't lie to you, they are producing great leaders in the future, those people that will manage this field, greatly in the future. I feel so great today because I am privileged and opportune to be part of this very movement, because I can foresee that it's going to be a great one in the nearest future. So they've been wonderful, like I said earlier on. They've imparted so many knowledge into us, and we are a better person today. I can assure you that, at least with what we have gotten in this organization, in this field, man, I can guarantee the fact that we're going to affect our world positively in this very field and environment. So I think to the very best of my knowledge, I would like to use this medium, to be an advocate, for people to come to this very field, because the more we are, the better the country becomes, and the better the industry as well. Thank you so much.
Don't buy software because it's what everybody else is doing. Don't look for a technology because it seems like the right thing to do. No, it has to be needed. It has to be something that you already uh, are in a position to benefit from, especially efficiency enhancements. There's a difference between effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness has uh, efficiency embedded in it, but it is more directional. It's more goal and focus. All right, in terms of strategy. If you already have systems, processes, a way of doing things, you already have where you want to arrive at your vision, the goal in sight. Then we say you have, if you are effective, you know where you want to go, your endpoints, you know what you need to do. You now have the steps to take, which are the processes and the milestones that will lead you there. That's effectiveness. Now,
We have a lot of courses actually, but I have two that are more interesting to me, like procurement management and facility maintenance strategy. Procurement management, it exposes us to so many things about procurement. The difference between procurement and purchase. All that you need to do to, abide by the ethics of procurement standard, everything that you need to succeed as an FM, in procurement. And at the same time, maintenance, facility strategic maintenance is one of the main things as an FM that really, puts you at that top, that will really make people appreciate and respect you. The essence of facility, maintenance strategy, the whole essence and objective is to save costs. Is to ensure that the operations of that organization keep running. That's the whole essence of facility operation maintenance. And in those, we have a lot of processes, the strategies to apply. Like for example, we have talked about reactive slash run to fail maintenance plan. Talk about the preventive maintenance plan and the predictive maintenance plan to ask an FM. I think for it to be top notch, for it to be at the top of your peak, and to be respected in your discipline, you need to understand the three modules that I just mentioned earlier. The reactive, some of what's equivalent or whatever that you allow to be reactive, and
Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. The facilitator will be joining soon. I'm so sorry for the delay. Good afternoon, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, the facilitator will be joining us soon, in 1 minute. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Please let me know when we can start.
You can start, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and I trust your day has been fine. If that's so, please, can I have some thumbs up? Can you just maybe on the chat box or based on your reaction page, you can just give me some thumbs up. If you can hear me, can you also give me some thumbs up? Okay, good. Thanks. So good afternoon once again, and thanks for making out time to join or to participate in this session, right? My name is Engineer Kolapo Bolade, and I'll be speaking to you as regards the risk radar, how to identify assets, and of course, control hazards before they happen. Okay, and this will just be for just about an hour, and please, if you can just put your heart and mind to this, and let us run through this together. All right, and be sure that at the end of this session, I mean, in the next 1 hour, your skill sets will have improved as regards how you should be able to manage risks end to end. So from conceptualization to not just mitigation, but even risk offsets. You know, we're going to be showing you in this session. Okay, so Miracle can start this class. Just for some of us that might not just know me. Okay, I think I facilitate with um, Max-Migold. I've been fascinated with Max-Migold for about 7-8 years now. All right, since 2018. Okay, so that's about 7 years. All right, and I think for some of us, especially the FM facility managers that have had some form of interaction with me, we then understand why this session is important and why we're doing what we are doing. I'm a chartered risk manager in Nigeria. I'm registered by the Chartered Risk Management Institute of Nigeria. I'm also a specialist, the technical specialist member of the Institute of Risk Management in the UK. All right. So I think by pedigree, I have some knowledge around risk management and what we need to do. Next slide, please. Okay. So at the end of this class, we are looking at every participant understanding the importance of being proactive in terms of risk identification in facility management. All right. So hazard itself, which is which is anything that can actually cause harm, risk, or injury, is present in everything, in every activity, every operation, and in fact in every facility. All right. So we're going to be looking at how we can proactively identify um, hazard and of course risks. All right, and we're also going to be looking at how the common workplace hazards and the factors that create them can also be easily and quickly recognized. But we're going to be looking at some structured approach to risk management. All right, we're going to be looking at the risk management from the identification, assess, control, and reduce cycle, which is the PDCA cycle. All right, so we can be able to identify the likelihood, the severity, the exposure, in fact, the ease of detection, and how we can mitigate all this. Then again, control measures that we need to put in place following the hierarchy of controls in health and safety that need to be easy to be quickly refreshed so all of us can know what we need to do. Maybe in this class, not even maybe. So I'll be under the engineering control, I'll be highlighting 4 additional things you need to do with engineering control. This you may not get anywhere elsewhere. All right. So just listen and be attentive, during this session. And finally, we're going to be seeing how we can integrate, risk monitoring, risk reporting, and what have you into the FM operation for continuous improvement. Next slide, please. All right. So in terms of outline, this is what we're going to be discussing. These 6 headers will be discussed, all right, including the conclusion for today's training. Next slide, please. Okay. So what do we mean when we mention the word risks in facility management operations. So what does it really mean? All right. You could see, I don't know, some of us know or we play the game of Jenga. All right, Jenga, Jenga. All right, and in Jenga, you try to remove, a block and anticipating that the blocks above and below will not collapse. So same thing with our operations as a facility manager or in facility management. And same thing as to how we manage risks. How do we remove a block? How do we adjust an operation? How do we continue to be in operation without collapsing, without causing accidents or incidents, as the case may be? So risk itself is a potentiality, is the potential for a negative outcome in this situation, in this case. All right. So for some of us in projects, positive or negative. But in this class, say that risk is the potential for harm happen within a facility that it recognizes or it threatens, it encompasses the threats to people, not just people, to properties, to equipment, assets, security, safety, and also our business continuity. For us to exist tomorrow, that's sure that there is no collapse today. For us, how do we ensure that the business is even sustainable? How do we bring sustainability into the FM operations? By ensuring that whatever has been made things to go wrong are quickly identified, assessed, controlled, mitigated, compensated, and offset. Risk itself can arise from either an equipment failure, unsafe work practices or processes, lack of or gaps in procedures, lack of or poor management system for controls, lack of or minimal resource to keep the operation safe, non-adherence to environmental and other regulatory requirements, not just the environmental part, but also in terms of regulations, competitiveness in business. How do we ensure that the risks that we can identify or we could identify in an FM facility management operation are quickly assessed, risk controlled, mitigated, compensated for, and offset? Let me say this, that when we understand risks itself, understanding of the risks help facility management teams to be able to prioritize actions and allocate resources to prevent not just an accident, but also a near miss. That's what we call incidents. So we want to ensure that we're able to prevent things from going wrong. We're able to proactively stay alive. And when I use the word stay alive, it's not just about the health and safety now, but to ensure that there is business continuity, because what could disrupt, what can stop us has been stopped. At the end of this course or this class, we want to be able to stop the stops. If the only thing you can do at the end of today is to be able to stop the stops, then we are good. Then this session is a success. We want you to be able to know what can stop you and stop them before they stop you and stop them before the operations are stopped. Next slide, please. So why do we want to identify risks early? We want to do this because we want to actually prevent accidents or incidents from happening. So we say that early identification allows the FM teams to spot the hazards. I said hazard is anything that can make us to be disrupted. Anything that can cause harm, injury, or loss. anything that can cause a stop is an hazard. So we're saying that early identification of these hazards allow us as facility managers to do what? To develop controls that will prevent unsafe conditions, which could actually lead to injury or damages or even a loss, which could lead to what we call LOC, loss of control. And one of the things we do, or we should do, is the detection part. And you cannot detect what you don't know. And that's why this education, this meeting, this educational session is important for us to quickly understand how to internalize risks and be able to detect things before they go wrong. So detecting issues at the earliest stage reduces the chance of minor problems becoming bigger operational issues. Detecting a miss early will help us prevent a stop. Detecting a defect, a defect may not give you a stop at that instantaneous time. Something, maybe, so let me use maybe a leaking tire. So you get your vehicle, the tire is not fully pressurized. Maybe because the tire has been punctured by a nail, maybe because by the edge of the tire rims, there is a leak or something. So because your tire is not fully gauged, it's not looking fully pressurized. I'm using the word look, visual inspection. Does not mean that you cannot move the vehicle. It only means that there is a problem you need to attend to. If you are hearing some sound on your vehicle, it might not mean that the vehicle cannot move at that time, but it only means that we need to quickly diagnose to understand or detect the defect and fix it. And exactly what we're saying here, early identification, early detection, early diagnose prevents major operational failures. We want you to be able to identify risks early so that we can quickly do a deep dive. We can do what we call the IFA, the in-depth failure analysis, which will help us understand the root cause or causes. We can quickly apply the fishbone analysis, Ishikawa, for us to then know whether it's a man problem, a machine problem, a material problem, a method problem, a management system problem, a motivation problem, a measurement problem, or an environmental problem. I just mentioned what we call fishbone now, 7M plus E. That's what I did now. I gave you the 7 M's with 1 E, which is the environment, which we need to quickly diagnose to also have an in-depth failure analysis of why something can go wrong. Identifying risks early provides enough time to plan, listen to this, to plan a corrective or some corrective actions and not a correction. We want to move you from a reactive maintenance that, okay, it has gone wrong now, then we need to then fix it. We want to take you away from breakdown scenario, from repair maintenance, or what we call the reactive maintenance, and move you into the predictive and proactive, where we can understand that, okay, by virtue of this inspection, by virtue of this maintenance, we can see what is about to go wrong, and we can fix them before they go wrong. We want to be able to spot the smoke before it becomes fire. Prevent incident at the source. Protect people, assets, environment, reputation, and ensure business continuity by removing the threats before they materialize. Next slide, please. So if hazards are not managed correctly, what does it cost? Let me put it another way. What is the cost of an accident? How bad can it go? Traditionally, in health and safety, the cost of an accident is viewed through what we call the iceberg approach, where what you see is just the tip of what is to become. Let me put it another way. There is what we call the indirect and the direct costs of an accident. So if the hazard is not managed properly, it's going to become an accident, and the cost of the accident can then be direct or indirect. But this is the sad news, that whatever you see as the cost of the accident is a fraction. That's why I use the word iceberg. Is a fraction of total cost of what it could be. So why I'm here this afternoon as an health and safety advocate, as a risk specialist, as a chartered risk manager, and of course, as a sustainability expert, is to let you know that if we don't identify and manage hazards at the incipient stage, when they are still small, when they are just budding, we're going to have a problem as an organization. Whatever incident, whether it is fire, whether it is any other emergency, that what is that, even an accident, all right, that has occurred, that is occurring in your organization. The good news I've brought this afternoon, and in fact, is a Christmas good news, is that we can identify the risks early, nip this hazard in the bud, and for crying out loud, we can live without an accident. Unmanaged hazards can lead to workplace injuries, resulting in medical expenses, compensation, legal liabilities, and what have you. Let me say again on this call that the reason why we manage health and safety is not just because of the financial implication. There is the moral, a duty of care, or moral right, why we should manage our workplaces against accidents. And of course, there is the legal implication, which could be criminal or civil, which could be by compensation or by fine. So we're saying that for our business to continue, for business continuity, the profitability of the business must be assured. The good news is that our sales and marketing teams can bring revenue, income to the organization. But our skill or unskill, our do's or don'ts, our commission or omission as facility managers can erode or can lead to profit of the business to be eroded, can actually erode the profit of the business. And some of us, we're talking about sustainability, continuity. I'm happy and sad to tell you that if a business is not profitable, there is no need for us to talk about sustainability, ESG. There is no need for us to talk about, okay now, maybe workforce continuation or existence. A business, an operation, an organization must first be profitable before we look at other things. And we're saying that as facility managers, we can contribute to profitability of the business, not in terms of sale or marketing, but in terms of compliance to not just the regulation or the environment or what have you, but also to governance to ensure continuity. And part of this is to contribute under the social cost, the social element of business sustainability, by ensuring that the risks of the business, whether in health and safety or in governance, is taken care of. If a business run into safety incident or accidents, and we need to take out some money to settle medical bills, to compensate the victim, to pay the lawyers and prevent our bosses from going to jail, legal liabilities, then at the end of the year, now, right? The business will no longer be profitable. The business will be declaring losses. If there is a major oil spillage from our facility, then we then get sanctioned by either Lagos State Environmental Protection Authority or agency, all right, or maybe NESRA or what have you. Then it is a problem. Maybe you heard in the news last week when the Honorable Minister of State for Labor and productivity and employment, of course, shut down, I think, 2 factories in Ogun State, and NESRA proceeded even at Ogijo to shut down battery recycling factories. All right, that is automatic loss for that organization, because apart from the environmental compensation and offset that they need to do, they will need to actually compensate victims. They need to, of course, regularize their activities with the government. They need to put things in place, things they've avoided to put in place in the first instance. So if anything can cause harm, if anything can cause accident in the workplace, it is our job as facility managers, facility specialists, to ensure that we identify them early for mitigation. Ignoring hazard can lead into major failures. Poor hazard management will, in fact, result in some indirect situations or indirect costs, such as lowering the morale of the employees, dividing or trashing the trust. Employee engagement will be lowered. Turnover of employees will be high, but the turnover of the business, and in the long run, in the long term, there is a reputational damage. Next slide, please. I know some of us might have 1 or 2 questions. We can keep it to the end of the class. Okay, I would give a bonus, no money, in terms of knowledge in this class, because you've participated, you've attended, right? So if anybody even get hold of the slide, you or she will know some of the things I've spoken about, unless you listen to the recording. All right, so there are some sources of hazards that tend to disrupt our operations. Those sources could be physical, such as the slip, trip, and fall, noise, heat, unsafe act, unsafe condition in the workplace. Such acts could actually be, arise from chemical hazards. Some could be ergonomically related, so ergonomic hazards. Some could even be as a result of operational issues. Now, we are saying that whatever it is, we just need to ensure that we can use the source of the energy to identify what is about to happen, what is going wrong. But I'll give you a bonus. And what's the bonus? Hazard identification by energy sources. If you have a pen, you can put it down. You can pen it down. So there are 10 sources of energy for hazards to occur. So some hazard may have a combination, so that was a combined hazard, may have a combination of those energy sources. Some can actually, emanate, they can actually get, into how to put it now. They can materialize just on their own single source of energy. Anything that is hanging, that has been hung, and that's hanging can actually fall. So we say anything that has gravity energy or gravitational energy is an hazard. So anything that we've hung or we're hanging can actually result in an accident. Number two, motion. Anything that is moving, whether it's a vehicle, a motorcycle, can also result in an accident. Number three, mechanical. I said mechanical, and that is rotating can result in an accident. Electrical, and that has electricity can result in an accident. But that can give either a fatality, a burn, electrocution, or electric shock. Four things. Number five, anything that has chemical composition, any chemical can result in an accident. Number six, any vessel that is pressurized can result, anything that has pressure, e.g., our cooking gas cylinders and water can result, even the fire extinguishers, can result in an accident. Biological, including the rodents, can actually lead to or result in an accident because they become vectors and transmit diseases from one point to another. Number eight, radiation, and that's X-ray, can give even either chronic or acute, disease or illness to human life. Number nine, sound. Anything that makes sound can actually damage your ears. Number 10, eat. Eat anything. Next slide, please. Next slide, Miracle. Okay. So we're saying that areas such as, so in a building, areas such as mechanical rooms, electrical panel area, if you have, boilers, which actually, vessels, right? They carry high energy risks. Rooftop, elevated platforms, ladders, those are watertight. Anything above, like I said, can fall to the ground. It is important we take care of that. Kitchens, workshops, just name that. Parking structure, loading bay, and that's the movement of extend the 10 energies, right? Even confined spaces where presence of oxygen is limited or presence of other gases is high, then that is an energy impact area. That's a place that hazards can quickly turn into risks and give potential for damage, loss of life, and what have you. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The slide is not moving here yet. Okay, it has moved. So we're then telling ourselves that sorry, excuse me. So I said we're telling ourselves that the use of checklists to identify hazards are very important. And the need for us to go to Gemba, the need for us as FMs to go to Gemba to to walk through the facility is very key and important. So using a checklist help us to structure, the whole identification. Help us to, when I use the word structure, I mean it helps us to guide how we want to walk through the facility. It guides what we want to see. It guides where we want to go. Because in honesty, what checklist does is that we have preempted the risks or the places where we could have the issues. So we have asked some questions by identifying those areas, such that when we then go through or when we walk through, we then look for answers to our questions. So as simple as, oh, is the electrical panel opened? That's the question, right? Knowing fully well that if it opens, what it means is that there is access for people to carelessly, touch the electrical panel or or touch electricity, and then that becomes a bigger problem. Okay, so we use the 5x5 metrics as one of the tools that we can employ to look at the severity and the likelihood. So the higher the severity or likelihood, then the more hazardous that area is. So ask yourself, if this electrical panel is open, what's the likelihood of somebody touching it? And if the person touches it, what is the severity? Severity is asking yourself, what can go wrong? So we're saying what can go wrong? How likely and how seriously? Ask yourself, what can be the issue? What can be the seriousness of the results of the issue? All right. So in this rating, if you look at the green zone, it has low likelihood and low severity. So you can go on Google and type 5 x 5 risk matrix. That's 5 by 5. If you type 5 x 5, and that gives you an idea of what risk rating looks like. Okay, and the higher the risk, the more controls you need to put in place, starting with the hierarchy of control, and not just, when I say put control in place, not just putting controls, but also about also ensuring that you work with the hierarchy. What should we do first? What should we do next? It's not just about doing, but doing the right things. Okay, next slide, please. Miracle, please, next slide. So when we say hierarchy of controls, what do we really mean? I'm saying that internationally, we look at controls from area of effectiveness. How effective can this control be? So how do we prioritize the effectiveness? The first one is what we call elimination. Taking out the controls. Take them out. Eliminate the controls. I'm sorry, eliminate the hazard. Putting the controls in place that will enable us to eliminate the hazard. So the first one is hazard elimination. Don't do it. All right. Number 2 is what we call substitution. Can we replace the way we want to do it? Can we use another equipment? Can we use another method? Can we use another material? Can we use another procedure or process? Can we use another method or even another person to get this done? Of course, based on proficiency, based on skill sets. All right, so we can say that if we cannot eliminate the hazard, if we cannot avoid it completely, then can we reduce or substitute it? If we cannot do that, can we control the hazards using engineering approach? So when we say engineering approach, it's vague. All right. So someone will ask me, what do we mean? Can we do what we call number 1, isolation? which some of us know as lockouts, tagouts, and tryouts, low total. Can we isolate the hazard from its energy source? If we cannot, for instance, for electrical, you need to power down the electrical cabinet, all right? Test with the multimeter, not a tester, all right? Use of multimeter to test absence of voltage and current, okay? Then, after you've done that, we can then say, no problem. What again can we do? Can we then lock out? That means use a padlock basically to lock the panel, then put a tag to say work in progress, do not touch. I use a lotto tag. All right. With that, we have effectively communicated that somebody is working on this electrical panel. We have not just done that, we have locked out, we have taken out the energy by shutting it down, testing with our multimeter, and using padlock to lock it so that another person does not put it on. That's isolation under engineering control. We can also do what we call guarding or fencing. Guard, Guarding, guarding or fencing. All right, where we try to use, e.g., machine guard, all right, install machine guards. No, make sure that the hazard, even if it is released, does not touch people. So we are guarding the hazard away from the people. Okay, so we can do either isolation or guarding, but let me add two additional things because we're in this class. We can do what we call venting, which some of us know by our knowledge of safety in design. When you put pressure relief valve on a line, all right, maybe a gas line or something, even on our boilers, what we are doing is called venting. We are trying to vent off. We are trying to release the energy, in this case, pressure, in the case of a boiler or a gas pipeline, pressure, so that it doesn't build up and cause a disruption and cause an explosion in our system. Let me add the fourth one. Oxygen release. All right. So in the case of what kind of confined space, for instance, we can use engineering approach or engineering method to ensure that the gases in the confined space are either adequate enough for someone to walk in, or we take out the poisonous or hazardous gases away from the space, making oxygen available by engineering control. So these four sub-actions under the engineering control action makes you a better facility manager. I said elimination of the hazard, substitution of the hazard, applying engineering control, and I gave you 4 methods you can apply this. Then there's what we call the administrative control, by training, by permit to work, by competency recruitment, that recruiting someone that is qualified, by supervision, by instruction, by information, and by training. There's something we call IITS, under health and safety, administrative control. We say there is what we call the information, instruction, training, and supervision. I've added permit to work, I've added recency, I've added competency to this. It's not just recruiting someone that studied electrical engineering or mechanical engineering many years ago. How recent is the training of the person? Meaning that how current is that person to even, how updated is the person to use modern tools to get quicker and better results. And we all know the last thing under the act of control, which we call the PPE, personal protective equipment. All right. So we can also use personal protective equipment. At times, you can combine that with what we call the collective protective equipment, e.g., fire extinguishers. So it's not just about you using your your body wears, your protective wears alone, your protective gears, but also being able to even use collective protective equipment, your CPE, to bring down the risks when they occur. Next slide, please. So how do we implement all these things that I've been telling you? We are saying that where engineering redesign needs to happen, please raise up the suggestions and make that happen. Engineering design. Policies, SOPs should also be updated to ensure that the risks are minimized. We need to speak to people's behavior. They're what we call behavioral observation safety. Please, we need to speak to people's behavior. We need to make people believe that accidents is preventable 100%, and we need to leave it. We need to combine all the things I've spoken about in the area of controls. And finally, we need to ensure that there is continuous monitoring, evaluation, to confirm that the reinforcement, the barriers that are put in place are in place and they are working effectively. Next step, please. So how do we ensure compliance to safety standard and regulation? One key thing is even for us to understand the applicable legal and regulatory requirements. I repeat, applicable legal and regulatory requirements. If you don't know what is applicable to you, how do you then implement? So I will challenge all of us here on this call that at our place of work, we need to come up with what we call the legal and regulatory register. In fact, some of us call it the legal, regulatory, and other requirement register. So what do you need to comply with? Which agencies have the oversight? So you can start from activity base. So what are the things we do here? Are there regulators in these states or nationally that monitors or are interested in issues, in these activities, in these issues? Then we put a list into place. Okay, yes, if you're a factory, then there's the Factory Act 2004 that needs to be complied with. There is the Operational Safety and Health Bill that we need to, or OSH framework that we need to understand the requirements and, of course, put things into place. Depending on your industry, again, there will be some industry-specific activities that you need to know that we need to put in place. All right. Again, even from employee consultation and participation, there will be things that we bring out from those engagements that then help, in ensuring that we're able to identify, the risks in the business and how we can safely comply with standards, guidelines, and meet the needs of relevant stakeholders. Everything we are saying needs to be documented, right? So if it's not documented, then it's not done. And when it's documented, it has to be sufficient. Not just having a document, or having a sufficient document. All right. Then we talk about proactive compliance, when you then even carry out inspection and audits, not because something has gone wrong, but because you don't want anything to go wrong. Well, run out of time. Next slide. Okay. And here we are looking at reporting of incidents. Incidents can be near miss or actual accidents. The difference between incident and accident is actually the outcome. All right. So if there is a loss, then it is an accident. If there is no loss, that means that if nothing got damaged, spoiled, there was no injury, there was nothing that's, that we can call harm or loss release, then that is a near miss. A vehicle can actually hit a stationary object or pole, and nothing gets damaged. If that's the case, there's a near miss. But if anything is broken, then it is what? An accident. We're not saying that timely reporting of this accident is important, not because we just want to have it in our record, but so that we can commence, we can quickly commence investigation, understand what went wrong, and put control measures in place to prevent a reoccurrence of same or similar issues. Information is then, fresh, valuable, and not missing. There is no implied, explanation. If it is reported immediately, then we're gonna say it the way it is. But when you wait till tomorrow, it's possible that the mind would have processed the information and you won't give the right information, to the team conducting the incident investigation. All right, like I said again, it helps us to quickly identify the root causes. It ensures that there is, clear communication, which then ensure that the outcome of the investigated, or the outcome of the investigation, is clearly shared with concerned people, parties, and places. So that's what we call lessons learned. So timely reporting will ensure that we can also timely report the lessons learned as regards this situation. Okay. Again, when we analyze near misses, it helps us to understand the weak points, where we are missing it, where the metrics are not jiving, so we can quickly react and put things back in place. And this leads us to the KPI and performance trending. You don't just trend performance, we track and trend. So far, in some place we say we trace, we track, and we trend, the triple T. All right. What you trend means that you try to analyze, you try to make sense out of the data. All right. And making sense out of data then allow us to quickly put actions into place. So we make sense out of the data by analyzing it. Then we then know that, okay, a few things that we felt were working in reality are not actually working, and we can reinforce the barrier. Data-driven safety, or data-driven safety information help us to become better, to create a better workplace and become better facility managers. So you want to create a better workplace, you want to be a better FM, one of the things you do is to ensure that you have what we call safety data that has been analyzed. So all the metrics need to come into the same, need to come into position, need to come into the same database for us to be able to quickly identify where things are not working and we reinforce the barrier, or even identify or recognize where things are working and we keep doing the good job. Monitoring of our performance, I repeat, is very key. And mind you, you cannot monitor a target you do not set. All right, so setting that target, which is what we call the KPIs, the key performance indicators, are very key at the beginning of the year or every time. All right. Next slide. We're almost rounding off. So we're saying that we should build a culture of shared and vigilant and shared responsibility. So here, concluding here, we're saying that safety is not one man's business. It is every man's business. It's not one person's responsibility. It is a collective responsibility. And we need to do everything within our care as much as possible to build a system of trust, to build a system where people trust what we're saying, they trust the data is not manipulated, There is what we call data governance. There's what we call, the truthfulness of the data. The data has not been manipulated, because if we manipulate the data, we're already deceiving ourselves. All right. So we want to have data transparency, such that in terms of governance, whatever information we are giving the system is correct, and we can then, track, we can trace, track, trend that data, analyze it, and make useful and impactful decision out of the data. So finally, I would say that we need to, encourage, reward, and recognize people. We need to encourage people that are doing the right thing, so that, have a no, but what that is, that's as an AVIX reported as at when due, all right, and where people actually do the right thing for business continuity and risks. We need to stop this session. I'll be happy to take them. I'm happy to take questions now, please. Hello. Are you still hearing me? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Miracle, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Please, if you have any question, you can always ask him before he leaves.
Yes, I have a question. Oh,
You can go ahead.
hello.
You can go ahead with your
Hello?
question.
Okay. Well, it's more like can you hear me? Hello?
please go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. Thank you, Kolapo Bolade. That's been a good lecture. And like you said, as a facility manager, it's just more like a contribution. Anyway, risk. We live with risk. And as a facility manager, we must be conscious of our environment. What really happened? Like you said, that we must be proactive. Something happened in my place of work, and I sense that this is a risk. Like we said, risk refer to the potential for loss, harm, and destruction of operations. I manage a facility about a 4-story building, and then we have a lift, elevator. And there was one of these days they came to service it, and they discovered the technician that the UPS inside it is not working. that they need to take it to go and repair. And now it's about over 2 weeks. And though we have a generator we are using as well, it's a service apartment. But then, deep down to me, as a risk, as a facility manager, and that know about the risks, people normally use this elevator. And I thought of it that, okay, what of, because I'm trying to do my risk analysis, and I discover what of if NEPA goes off, and in the course of, okay, let's go and on generator, and generator fail as well. This is a serious risk. This is a serious. What I did now, as I'm talking now, I said the best bet for me is to go and shut the elevator down, even though the elevator is working. But then, because of the risk that surround it, I decided to go and shut the elevator down. And luckily or fortunately, at the moment, we don't have guests in. It's only for the staff that's using it for now. And that's what I did. And from your angle, what do you say about that? What the measure I've taken, I think, is it right? Is it professional? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I would have done the same thing. Thanks, Mr. Emmanuel. I would have done the same thing if I'm in your shoes. So what you've done is you've eliminated the risks. All right. Not because the hazard is still no longer there, but you have not allowed the people and the hazard to come into the same vicinity to come together. What am I saying? Lift is not assured. All right. So simply turning it off or powering it down and say, okay, out of use. But please, you need to put the proper labeling on it to say temporarily out of use or under maintenance. So you don't need to explain to everyone. All you need to do is to communicate the issue by saying, oh, this is out of use, or but quickly find a way to resolve the problem. Okay. But I think I will say kudos to you. Well done. That's what you need to do. Stop the accidents before it happens. Stop make the staircase available and safe. Make the staircase well illuminated and not
Thank you.
free. All right. And put a signage on the elevator to say it is under maintenance or some.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bolade. Network is bad. Appreciate it.
So thank you all for joining today's lunch hour. This brings us to the end of today's lunch hour. If you've not joined the WhatsApp group, the link is on the chat. Our Telegram group is also on the chat, and our official WhatsApp number is also on the chat. So if you have any question, you can leave it in the WhatsApp group, and our facilitators will be able to answer the questions. Thank you all for joining today's lunch hour. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.